Hello, and welcome to Hump Day Lunch Break Live. Oh, it's such a beautiful day compared to yesterday. Yesterday was pretty rough. We had some really bad weather here in Wisconsin, so yeah, it was very interesting. We had hail about the size of, larger than the size of nickels, and it was pounding on my window right where I was working. Yeah, it was kind of scaring me. It felt like the window was going to break. So I am just, say hi, posting a comment here and just get my feed going. Just make sure I can see everything. Say hello. Let me know that you're here. Tell me what you're doing for lunch today. I actually posted what I was having for lunch. I had a hot roast beef sandwich. We went out to dinner the other night, and my husband had gotten the hot roast beef au jus sandwich. So, yeah, I had leftovers. So it was really good. I am all set. I just need to get a quick drink of water here. And we'll get started. So today we're going to be featuring the Hearts and Hugs stamp set. And if I can just get it out of my little case here. Stamp set and dies. Oops, I need this bottom piece of paper because that's my scrap. All right. Let's go. So we're using Hearts and Hugs, the stamp set, as well as the coordinating dies. Now, if you don't have a die cut machine, you can cut any of these items out by hand. I do have a couple other pieces right here, so that's why you don't see all of them. But let me just share with you. So this right here cuts out our little walruses, and then we have one for this. I don't know. Is it a mole? Is it this is a mouse. So I'm not sure. A hamster, a guinea pig. I don't know. We're going with a mole just based on its feet. And then we have the little badgers here. So we've got that die. We've got some hearts, which are not part of the stamp set, but it makes a really fun die cut here. Then we have our little mouse. So you can kind of see all the different things here. There's also a little banner so that you can cut out your phrases. And in addition to the things in the stamp set, you're going to have a couple more things. So you have the little flowers here and flower stems. So you can die cut those and then die cut your flowers and put them on top. There's some little hearts. We are not going to be using the most of this today. We're just going to be using, I'm just going to put this right here in my case. We're going to be using the little mole and the little banner. Again, if you know what this is, let me know. I don't know. Okay, so let me show you our finished project here. We're also going to be pulling in the new swirly embossing folder. Oh, I love how this background is. This embosses. So here's our project for today. And I'm going to show you how to make that. All right, so I do have a piece of Summer Splash. It is one of our new in colors, and I've die cut this with the Countryside Corner dies. So this is a nice big, like a label set. It's great for backgrounds. You can use it for really anything, but it makes some really fun backgrounds for cards. So that's what we're going to be using. I've already done that for us, just to save us a little bit of time. But I did want to run this through the embossing folder so that you can see how it's done. Now, a lot of times when I have, this is a really large embossing folder, so it's much bigger than our normal ones. So this is actually 6 by almost 8.5. So it's a pretty large sheet. So you can actually do a full sheet, a full half sheet, I should say, right in there. Right. It'll leave a little bit of an edge up there, so maybe 8 inches is probably a better fit in there. But usually what I'll do is I'll kind of trim down a piece and I'll run it through and then I'll do my die cutting. When you do that, just know that your embossing isn't going to be as deep. It's going to kind of flatten out a little bit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this. Now this just requires our normal plates. It's not a 3D embossing folder, so you don't have to worry about that. And you will need the larger die cut machine, so I'm going to pull this in. When I do the other things, I'll be using the smaller one, just so you can see so it fits in the frame better. All right, so we're going to go ahead and, let me just turn this kind of out of the way. I'm going to take my folder, I'm going to put my little die cut piece in there. It doesn't matter what way you put it in. Just move it to the way that you like. I kind of like it over here gives me a little bit more pattern. And just one tip, have the Stampin' Up logo facing up. Insert your, run it through here so you can see. When you do this, have your fold going on the inside, all right? So the base plates that we need are going to be your base, so your number 1, and then your 2 cutting plates, so the number 3s. You don't need that little extra shim piece. You just need these. All right, and I'm just going to run this through real quick, and you will see the beauty of it come out in just a moment. All right. Now, I actually did have that piece ready earlier, but I decided, oh, I want to show you how to make a card with this too. All right, so there is, it looks the same on both sides. There is your embossed countryside die. All right, next thing we're going to do is I'm going to grab this scrap piece of paper in. I'm going to pull in my 2 3/8 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to go ahead and punch a circle just like that, because we'll need that piece. You can save this for, you know, one of the other little guys in there. I don't think this one will fit on there. Yeah, just on that scrap piece I had, it wouldn't fit. All right, so now I've got a different scrap piece here for my stamping. Let's see, these are the die cutting pieces that I need to do for this. So I'm going to bring back in my little sample right here so you can see it while I'm doing this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my black Memento ink. Move that one out of the side. And I'm going to grab my little critter here. Now, tip on this. When you go to pull this out, if you notice, his belly pops out as well. I keep this piece because I actually will do some different kinds of patterns with these pieces, so I do keep those pieces. But this is what your stamp will look like. So the middle is out of there. What's good about that is you don't get that little impression then, in case you push down too hard. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to stamp that up and just put right on my cardstock. So sometimes when you have that big open space, what you can do is get like little shadows there. So by having that piece popped out, it kind of negates that. All right, I'm going to get my chamois here and clean that up right away. And then, now I had done this earlier and I, again, used it for the other cards. So I'll be showing you the little card that I made, a little treat bag that I made. This could go on a gift tag, a gift bag, gift box, whatever. And let's see, the next thing I need is my pecan pie and peach pie blends. All right, so I'm going to be using the light peach pie, which is this one, I believe. Yep. And I'll be coloring in his ears, his nose, his hands and feet. Now you could use other colors, but I chose to use Summer Splash and Peach Pie, 2 of our new in colors with this project. So that's why I picked that marker. All right, so see, pretty quick so far to color. I'm going to take my dark pecan pie now, and I'm just going to go kind of around the edges here. Kind of make it a little jagged so it looks like fur. And same thing over here. A little jagged there. And then we'll go around the base here. Again, I'm using my, what you can call the chisel side or the bullet side, whatever you like to use for your terminology, it doesn't matter. It still works the same way. And we'll just add a little bit more fuzz down here. All right. Now, when I come in with my light pecan pie, I'm just going to kind of blend in the colors from the outside in. And you can use either the brush side or the chisel side. Totally up to you which you like to color with. And again, I'm just going from the dark into the white area. Now, if you prefer to start with your light color, feel free. It's however you like to do it. All right, so I'm going to get that colored in. Then we'll get a little face in here. But I do want to blend in the light and dark, just so it's not such an obvious break. so it's a little bit a smoother transition here. And maybe I'll just color a little more around the edges. All right. So now what that gives you is just a little bit of depth to this little critter. All right, we're going to run this through the die cut machine, and then I will come back and do the rest of the stamping. So I'm going to grab my little mighty but mini die cut machine. Now, the only thing that really this can't do is emboss. I mean, we do have some small embossing folders that you can use with this. I tend to almost always use a larger embossing folder, so I tend to use my big cut and emboss machine. But when I'm doing little pieces and I'm doing projects, I tend to go ahead and stay with my little one. It's just convenient. It can sit right on my desk. It doesn't take up a lot of real estate on my desk. Look how cute that little guy is. All right, and now I need a tag. So I'm going to show you how you can shorten the tag. Now, if you notice, look how long that is. I don't need that long of a tag. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just pull this back. I'm going to grab that scrap piece I had earlier, and I'm going to take the Thanks stamp set here. It's not stamp set, but stamp. Grab a block here. And I'm going to stamp it in Memento Black. And stamp it right there. All right. Now, I'm doing this because if I didn't stamp it straight, when I go ahead and die cut, I can make it straight. All right. Just a tip when you're stamping a sentiment, sometimes if you do it on a scrap before you die cut, you'll have an even piece. All right. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to cut off this extra here. All right, let's throw that away. I'm going to bring back in my die, and I'm going to position this where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and go right here. Now, I know that it's going to cut part of my cardstock off, but I'm going to show you how you can adjust that so that you get the perfect size tag. All right, we'll open our die cut machine here. Whoopsie. Grab this. I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to put this, just notice I have this at a little bit of an angle. I do that so it just runs through the machine better. Okay, I don't want that piece. All right, so I moved it just a little bit. There we go. And we'll run that through. All right, so now what we can do is you can see it only cut off that portion. Now this is great if you're working with a card and you want to do this. But I actually want a banner piece. So what I need to do is I need to come back in. We'll get rid of this piece. It makes about a 1/2 inch wide banner here. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to decide how long I want that. And I'm just going to kind of move my die so it kind of fits the outside edges of that. All right. So I'm going to turn it and then I'm going to line it up. If you're worried about not staying lined up, then go ahead and use a piece of washi tape, Post-it note tape, whatever you want to hold it in place. I'm going to be a little risky and just go for it. Worst case is I have to stamp it again. Oh well. I've got enough 1/2 inch strips in my craft room. All right. So now by doing that, I've got the perfect size tag. Now you can do that really with any dies that you have. Squares, rectangles. You can extend or shorten the length of that as you need. All right. So we've got this, we've got this, we've got this. And I need this piece in. I'm going to pull in my Summer Splash and Peach Pie stamp pads. And I will have a project sheet available for you to download. It's going to be on my website, and it will be in a link to it in the description of this video. So I do upload this video to YouTube, so people can watch it there as well. And I'm just looking for my little, I'm going to use this little heart here. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp. Whoopsie, that got pretty poor. Let me add another one. I'm going to stamp 4. I'm going to clean it, and then I'm going to go here. Now, a tip, tap gently. Otherwise, you're going to get those edges full of ink. So just tap, tap, tap lightly. And I'm just going to kind of fill in the empty spots. Now, some of it is going to be covered, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm not going to stress about it. And we'll just turn these this way, all right? So I'm just giving it a little bit of background. Think of it as making your own designer series paper. And my feed stopped here. So if you're joining me, can you say hi? Let me know that I'm still actually here because my feed actually stopped. All right, I can see it here. All right, I'm going to put these out of the way. Put these back in my little bin here. All right, we'll move this piece out of the way. We'll pull in our pieces again. The next thing I do have to do is I do have to put a little hole in the top here. Now, this is like a 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch punch. I don't remember what size it is. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these anymore, but I just happen to have that in my craft stash. I'm sure many of you have other things in your craft stash. I'm going to take about 6 inches of Peach Pie and Summer Splash ribbon. Yes, Stampin' Up! Has Granimals for adults. That's what I call the color combinations. I love it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to try and match any of it up. I know that all my colors are going to coordinate. Whew, thank goodness for that, because, you know, blues and greens and like purples, really hard to match. I know when I used to do a lot of scrapbooking, I would find the perfect green and then I couldn't find anything else to go with it. Ugh. So whenever I scrapbook now, I take a look and see if I'm going to do designer series paper, and I try to match my cardstock to my designer series paper. Okay, I also have a piece, I don't know, maybe 10 inches of linen thread there. I'm going to take this. I might as well just do this right now. I'm going to thread this through that hole that I just punched. Try to do both at the same time here. You need to make sure that you cut your ribbon at a really sharp angle so that you can get it through. So I got the one through. Okay. This was working fine earlier when I did this. I don't know. It's just because I'm live. That's why it's doing this, right? Okay. It's really not that hard. You can usually thread both pieces at the same time. All right. So there we go. Now just be gentle when you pull it through because you don't want to rip your paper. All right. So now that I've got that there, I want to tie my linen thread around here. So the easiest thing that I have found to do with this is I take a block and I just set it right on my ribbon. I then take my twine here, my linen thread, whatever I'm going to be using, and then I tie it. This way I don't have to have a whole nother set of hands to hold that in place. All right, so let's go ahead and tie that. And I'm going to tie my bow. Now, if the block is in your way when you're tying your bow, then just move your block. I feel once I get my bow started, then I can pick it up and move it out of the way. All right, there we go. And make your bow size whatever you want. Trim it down to be whatever you want. I'm just going to leave it nice and long. I am going to trim these edges, though, that look awful. So we're going to take this and this. I'm just going to trim them all at an angle here. And we'll just do this one here. All different lengths, right? It just makes it more fun. Okay, we'll get these pieces out of the way. And now let's take our circle here. You can either pop it up on dimensionals or you can go ahead and adhere it right to that embossed piece. And that's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to pop up my little critter. So let's just put this down. Now by having your hearts in all different directions, it doesn't matter which way then you put it on your tag. Give it a nice little rub so it gets in all the grooves of that embossing folder there. I'm going to bring in a couple dimensionals here. And just put one here and one here. There we go. Peel the backings off. Add this to the front of my tag. And now I can have this right there, right below his hand, so it looks like he's holding the banner. My original one, I cut it a little short, so this one I had to make sure I cut it at the right length. So we'll go ahead and just put a little bit of liquid glue right on his belly. Again, you could use a dimensional if you want to pop it up more. So I'm going to slide that right there so it goes right over his hands just a tad. I'm going to come in with some embellishments here. Now, I had one pulled aside. Here it is. I am using the new, what are these called? Iridescent faceted gems. I just thought these would look really cute on there. And it goes with any color, right? So we're going to put some in here. I'm going to go kind of in the space where there's not embossed piece, embossed area. I just feel like it will stay a little bit better. We're going to do this one. Oops. Come on. All right, we're going to do this one right over here. And I'll take another, I'm going to use another small one here and put it right down here. All right. So there we go. That is my tag. Again, I'll list all the supplies, but my project sheet that is on my website will have the list of supplies. It will have the measurements that you can download for free, and there'll be a link to that PDF file that you can download. It'll take me a few minutes just to get it uploaded. I just got to take a picture of it and then get it posted. So within the hour, you should see it. All right, let me show you a couple other things that you can do with this tag. So here we go. This tag was actually, Jennifer Drake had made this. I was in a swap, and she made this as a little thank you for participating in the swap. And that's totally where I got my idea from. All right. Then I decided to take it a step further, and I wanted to make a card. So I went ahead and I added my tag right to a card front. And if you notice on the card front here, I've also embossed with that same swirly folder. I just thought it tied together really well. And then I used the whole length of my die to put my little banner. And again, I just put it on so it looked like he was holding it. All right, so I hope you enjoyed today's Hump Day lunch break. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow night at 6:44 for Stampin' Fun and More for an online class. And I'll be using, I'm going to be using 3 different stamp sets tomorrow night. So hope to see you there. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.